Hello, my name is Dr. Roderick L. Roll, and today I will be talking to you about energy of life. There's several forms of energy that we will discuss. The two main categories that we will look at are potential energy and kinetic energy. Potential energy is energy that is stored, whereas kinetic energy is energy in motion. Under the category of energy of motion, we're going to look at thermal energy, which is also called heat energy. We will look at radiant energy, which is also called photon energy. And we will discuss Brownian movement. In reference to potential energy, we will only talk about chemical energy, which is stored energy in the form of ATP. To understand different forms of energy, we're going to look at how it flows through a living system. This is called bioenergetics. Energy is the capacity to do work. Energy exists in various forms, some of which can perform work. One form is referred to as kinetic energy. Kinetic energy is energy associated with motion. So in the previous slide, we saw a dam. The dam held water behind it. When that water flows through the dam, it flows through what is called turbines. The turbine is going to spin and convert potential energy, which is stored, into movable energy, which is kinetic energy. The second form of energy is thermal energy, or heat energy. Heat energy is kinetic energy that is associated with random movements of atoms or molecules. In the image, this lady has random movement of molecules inside of her body, and therefore this gauge, this temperature gauge, can detect the movement of those molecules. The third form of energy is potential energy. Potential energy is energy that matter possesses because of its location or structure. The water behind the dam has potential energy. The fourth form of energy we will look at is chemical energy. Chemical energy is potential energy that is available for release in a chemical reaction. Energy can be converted from one form to another, and thermodynamics is the study of those transformations. According to the first law of thermodynamics, the energy of the universe is constant. This energy can be transferred and transformed, but it cannot be created or destroyed. In this image, we are looking at different forms of energy. Light energy is being converted into chemical energy. That's in a process called photosynthesis. We have electrical energy being converted into thermal energy. So these are different energy transformations. Again, energy can be transformed, but it cannot be destroyed. That is the first law of thermodynamics. This bear is showing you the first law of thermodynamics. The energy that is stored in the meat of the fish is chemical energy. It is going to be converted into heat energy and kinetic energy when the bear uses that stored energy to move. Again, this is an example of the first law of thermodynamics. During every energy transfer or transformation, some energy is unusable and is lost as heat. This losing of energy is referred to as the second law of thermodynamics. So according to the second law of thermodynamics, every energy transformation increases disorder in the universe. We will now look at a chemical reaction. This is going to be one of the most important chemical reactions in learning bioenergetics. This chemical reaction is the photosynthetic equation or the respiratory equation. In this equation, we have 6 carbon dioxide taken in by the plant, and we have 6 water that will be taken in by the plant. If light is present, the plant will go through photosynthesis and make glucose, which is a sugar, and it will make oxygen. The reverse of this equation is when animals consume the sugar and they consume oxygen, they will create carbon dioxide and water. That is cellular respiration. Energy released from the catabolism of biological molecules such as glucose are exergonic. A exergonic reaction is going to release energy. In this equation, in this picture below, we're looking at a exergonic reaction. This individual consumed a sugar, and this individual is making energy. The energy is going to be used to create ATP. An exergonic reaction proceeds with a net release of free energy. This reaction is spontaneous. So if you look at the picture here, we have a reactant. The reactant is the sugar. The reactant is a protein. The reactant can be a lipid. When you consume these macromolecules, or when you consume these biological molecules, energy is released from the catabolism of that biological molecule. That biological molecule, let's say starch, will release the energy and become something else, like glucose. If it is glucose, it can release the energy and become something else like pyruvate or acetyl-CoA. Each one of these catabolic reactions will release energy. This free energy is the portion of the system's energy that can perform work when temperature and pressure is uniform. That is referred to as the delta G, the free energy. A delta G value below 0 indicates the release of energy from the molecule being catabolized. The molecule loses energy. So if I gave you a delta G value that was a negative number, that is below 0, that is a exergonic reaction. Therefore, energy is being released from the solution. Catabolism of ATP into ADP and an inorganic phosphate is going to yield a free energy value that is below 0. The value is negative 7.3 kilocalories per mole. Therefore, the breakdown of ATP is a exergonic reaction. It releases energy. This is a list of some other exergonic reactions. Notice that glucose is also a exergonic reaction. When you break down glucose into pyruvate and acetyl-CoA, the free energy release is negative 686. Both of these, catabolism of these two molecules, are exergonic reactions. How can an exergonic reaction be observed? This is a simple chemistry experiment. This free energy can be observed physically by touch. When a hot pack containing supersaturated sodium acetate trihydrate is disturbed, it will give off heat energy that can be felt. So in chemistry class, you'll mix this compound in a beaker and then you will disturb it. After disturbing, the beaker will become warm. This is demonstrating an exergonic reaction, and you can detect it physically by touch. The opposite of exergonic reaction is an endergonic reaction. Energy absorbed from the anabolism of biological molecules are endergonic. So in this case, to create ATP, the reaction is going to absorb energy. The energy has to be created from somewhere else, but it will be absorbed to create the molecule. So an endergonic reaction absorbs free energy from its surrounding. So in order to synthesize a starch molecule from many glucose molecules, you will need to absorb energy. That reaction has to absorb energy. In order for you to create a protein from amino acids, that is also an endergonic reaction. To create the protein, you have to absorb energy. A delta G value above 0 indicates energy absorption from its surrounding. This molecule gains energy. If you look at this image below, energy is coming into the reaction in order to build the product. The delta G value will be above 0. So to physically feel an endergonic reaction, all you need is a cold pack. A cold pack contains ammonium nitrate and water, but they are separated by a thin membrane. When you break this membrane, a mixture occurs. This interaction is going to absorb heat from the water. So therefore the water would feel cold. So this is a endergonic reaction.